All right, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim. In the name of Yahuah HaMashiach today, pick it up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testified me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. And come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. For another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how could you believe my words? Psalms 33. What's up, cuz? Psalms 33 and says, what's up, cuz? Oh, yeah, go another one for you. You can't find tobacco. Ooh, that's a substitute for you.
You look like the same place, the other place I got money.
I ordered that from Fragrance Net. Shalom, man. Psalm 33 and 6. By the word of Yahuah were the heavens made, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea together as in a heap. He lay up the depth in the storehouses. Let all the earth fear Yahuah. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe in him. For he spake and it was done. He commanded it. It stood fast. Yahuah bring the counsel. Shalom, Brother Langford. The counsel of the heathen to naught, and make the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of Yahuah stand forever, and his thoughts to all generations. It just hit my mind. Shalom, Saran. It just hit my mind that we ain't even finished that stuff in Deuteronomy. So let's go over here to Deuteronomy. I think 16. It was some other stuff in 15, talking about that burning lamp. We got to reconcile all of that on top of what I ended with yesterday. It'll come to mind. Yeah, probably. I don't know nothing about that, cuz I ain't got it. But I ain't got it though.
We're coming in good, huh?
But I ain't got it though. Hello. Oh yeah. That's not a good time right now, but I have to call you back. Trying to sell me a car. That's all they're trying to do, sell me a car.
So you need one, don't you? Right?
Yeah, but I don't want one. I don't want one from them. Not at this time. Don't keep calling me now. I get with you when I get with you. No. 16 and
we're duty.
Deuteronomy 16 and 13. Milk. You need some milk. That was enough. Milk. That's presentation right now, man.
Ooh.
That's presentation. 16 and 13, Deuteronomy. You shall observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that, you have gathered in your corn and your wine. You shall rejoice in your feast, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow that are within your gates. See, it's that time of year, man. Get a little that humidity. The humidity out there, man. You can get some little sweet. You know what I'm saying? Not sweet on your feet.
Like a little sweet, like a little sweet milk.
You say 7 days shall you keep a solemn feast unto Yahuah, in the place which Yahuah shall choose, because Yahuah shall baruch you in all your increase and all the work of your hands. Therefore shall you surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all males appear before Yahuah your Elohim, in the place where he shall choose, the feast of unleavened bread, the feast of weeks, the feast of tabernacles. They shall not appear before Yahuah empty, every man as he is able, according to the blessing of Yahuah which he have given you. Now this is the key. The key is that he will bless you and all of your increase and the work of your hands. So what does that mean? What does that entail? What is your increase? What is the work of your hands? Well, let's look and see what the work of your hands is. John chapter 6. We're just focusing on the place where he placed his name at because every king has a base of operations. The base of operations clearly is Jerusalem. And of course, this afternoon, we have to deal with the aspect of a king's power is shown in his wealth. We have to identify what is wealth.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, that's what has to be identified. We talk about it from time to time, but it got to be identified. It ain't no shekels.
Right.
Sir, ain't no euros, no pesos, no dinars, definitely not no Federal Reserve note.
That's right.
Ain't no crypto.
That's right.
Ain't none of that.
That's right.
All these boys be worrying about all that junk, man. That junk gonna go away. Anything that anybody can wipe out with a control, alt delete, ain't even nothing to be concerned with.
That's right.
At the end of the day, these people can take every dollar you got and say we ain't using that currency no more. We using that one, and your money is worthless. And what you gonna do about it? Who you gonna complain to? See, these white folks done got hip to your game too. Now they say, boy, they sending out 1099Ks to everybody. Oh, you like to use Venmo? You like to use Cash App? You say, we got a trick for you. Anything under $600, boy, that junk coming through. You getting a 1099K. Well, I done had people pay me well over $600 on Venmo, boy. I done had people pay me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on Venmo like this here. I'm a Venmo it to you. Sure, ain't no problem because it certainly wasn't going on with Tyson.
Until now.
No, it's other ways. Because at the end of the day, but that's not the other way they're going to eliminate that because now they talking about that they're going to do, the IRS going to be alerted to any transactions, $600 or over, withdrawals and deposits. When it used to be only 10 bands. You see what's coming. Are you ready for it? Little draconian. If you don't know what draconian is, look it up. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, that's coming for you. Y'all ever heard of George Orwell? You familiar with him? I know Johnny is. He used to read political books, have arguments with his white friends with a smoking jacket on. You know about it. You know about it? You don't know about it. You wasn't born until 1984. Or was that 94?
Definitely.
You don't even count. No, that book was about a tyrannical state where the government had complete and utter control over everybody. And the whole world playing out just like what he wrote in the book. And you know why? Because he was probably down with them folks and they told him, go ahead and mentally program him and get him ready. They made a movie about it. It's literally called 1984. You know what I'm talking about? Watch it. Enjoy it. Soak it in. Nevertheless, John chapter 6.
Sit down.
Verse 22. I'm just mentioning that because I told y'all that once they came with that first lockdown, that life as you knew it before that, it's never returned. That is never returned. You know what I'm saying? That's why I put that article in there for y'all to see about how they talking about all them ships out there in the middle of the ocean that can't dock. That's a sign that your life is about to get exponentially more difficult. You know what I'm talking about? Because that means there's going to be shortages of numerous amounts of goods, which is going to lead to high levels of inflation. That dollar that you used to be able to spend for 20 cents, now you're only going to be able to get 8 cents off of that $1 of purchasing power. So you just might as well be prepared for it and conduct yourself accordingly. Because if you think and walk around that stuff going to be sweet and you don't keep doing what you're doing, you're going to find out that it's not going to be. And it wasn't just a couple ships out there. It's a whole gang. And they say the same thing going on the East Coast. They didn't reference about the ports in Jacksonville and Miami, but they said the same thing going on in the New York Post ports that's going on in the California ports. These people ain't got nowhere to dock. They just sitting out there in the middle of the ocean. Because you know why they ain't got nowhere to dock? Because they ain't got nobody to drive no trucks to pick this stuff up and take it nowhere. Which is why that doggone recycle been sitting out there for about a month. Because they ain't got enough people to come drive them trucks to come pick that up. It ain't people be crashing, don't nobody want to do it for whatever reason. It ain't even about just putting anybody in it. Nobody wants to do it. It's not like they have we can just pick who we want. There's no one to pick. That's what you're not understanding. See, that was when the employer can set the terms. Because I got 10 spots and I got 50 applicants. Well, they got 100 spots and 3 applicants. So 97 spots. So they got bus driver shortages. You got people who don't want to drive school buses. There's labor shortages all across the country and almost any field and trade you can think of. But we deal with contractors, bro. They complain all the time. Can't find no painters. Can't find no framers. Can't find no drywallers. And the ones who are, they got so much work and people want all their junk done that people I'm trying to go over here and do this and go over here and do this and go over here to do that because there's no one to do it. Now, if you're good at what you do, you can eat lovely right now, but you're going to be stressed.
You're going to be stressed. Damn, boy. And then you're going to be looking for labor.
And can't find it.
I think it's going to be scarce.
Those are red flags. That's as what happened with Nebuchadnezzar's son. There's some handwriting on the wall. That's why I'm trying to tell you. Don't put your stock in that wealth, but that ain't no wealth. Well, that thing going down like the Titanic. Don't give you something different now. You already see? Y'all remember what they tried to do when they gave you that PPP? See, this is another reason why there's inflation, because they gave out all them PPP loans. And niggas was cracking jokes about niggas getting PPP loans, but that caused more inflation because that caused more money to be printed, which devalued the money even more. So yeah, they gave him 20,000 here, $1 million here, 50,000 here, 10,000 here, 25,000 here, and all that did was make your money be less valuable. All them stimulus checks, you know what I'm talking about? That tax credit junk they doing for them churns, see, that's a scam because that's an advanced payday loan. That's all that is. That's a payday loan because you don't have to pay that back on your taxes. They ain't giving you nothing. They just giving you your money early. You know what I'm talking about? But it ain't even in your money early because they ain't even supposed to be taking it. That's what I was telling little Bodie, man. This nigga telling him you should have a W-2 if you're an employee. The taxes are meant to crack your whole skull. I've been told y'all that. The tax code is for entrepreneurs. It's not for regular people. It's not to benefit them. You thinking you getting off because you getting a tax return. Somebody who making money because they created something, instead of, I ain't paid taxes in 4 years. That means all my money I get to keep, which means I get to roll it back in. Taxes don't come out my money. Somebody had me a $5,000 check. Ain't no taxes on that. I have to put 25% of that $5,000 to the side for taxes. That's why these dudes ended up in prison for tax evasion. Remember Will Smith got jammed up? Them actors, don't nobody take no taxes out their checks. Them niggas independent contractors.
Nice.
All them boys, anybody take no taxes out their check. Indeed, you're right, Brother Langford. The same thing did happen before the stock market crash of 1929. It planned out. I remember that. I read that in school regularly. It planned out just like that. What you had? What you got to say, son?
No, I was just saying, I'm in the ports. Some people in that government stuff. I mean, contractors.
But you talking about the ports here. We're talking
about the ports all over.
They can shoot. Boy, they got them people out there, man. Out there, right out there in the Pacific Ocean. Posted. But that means that if they're sitting out there, that means they don't have anywhere to dock. And then the longer they sit out there, that causes supply shortages in the supply chain. And when that happens, that has a domino effect on the cost of goods and services.
Just like if people at the port, if it was twice as many drivers, they would empty the cargo ship twice as fast.
Which means the prices would theoretically should go down.
Yeah. Then they can come in twice as quicker. But if you was unloading a cargo in 4 days and it's taking you 2 weeks,
that's going to push up the price.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is then, because this is what they complaining about. This is what they're really complaining about, because Christmas is coming. And if the stuff can't get in, then these retailers' profits is made from November, from Thanksgiving to December 25th. That's when they make the majority of their profit. So if the stuff don't come in, you can't shop. And if you can't shop, they don't make money. And if they don't make money, people lose their job. It's an ugly deal.
I mean, it's people saying
they fortunate, but they want people to lose their job.
They want people to lose their job so these niggas can
what do we do?
What do we do? I tell you what to do. Take this shot. Take this shot. I got a lot. Don't do it though, bud, man. John 6:22. That's why you got to pay attention. You can't live in no vacuum. Can't live in no echo chamber. Can't live in no bubble. You can't be walking around here thinking it's sweet. It ain't 1987 no more. It's going to be 2022. And America is through. It's over with. The experiment is completed. They done with it. And they're eroding it from the inside out. These niggas cried for Trump to be gone and got a white man in there who don't give a damn about nobody. Now look at them. All these niggas upset. They was wearing pearls and chucks for Kamala. Now they hate the hoe. But that's what you get for voting because somebody black. He said gas stations dry in the UK. They ain't dry over here, but the gas, he said the price of gas is too damn high. That's what the old man said. The day following, when the people who stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save one whereunto his disciples were entered, and that Yahushua went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. Hold on for the slip. I mean, this is another thing what they're doing. Because Biden came out and said this the other day. They trying to blame the economy doing bad on people not being vaccinated. So you have to sit back and see how they're using mental manipulation to pit people against one another. Because if I can get it in your mind, they did the same thing in Germany with the Jews and said all your economic problems is these Jewish people fault, which allowed them to do their so-called Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? So if you can convince people that another group of people is a reason why your life is not going the way that you want it to go, then that causes eternal conflict. The people can be fighting against one another, and therefore you can't pay attention to what they're doing. Misdirection, Stanley. Misdirection. Oh, you're not familiar with that film, I see. Oh, you look like if you weren't familiar with that film. Oh, so you're not familiar with Swordfish? That's unfortunate. I thought y'all liked to watch black women in movies. Black women in movies. That's what Halle Berry. So you just want to watch that Boosie movie. That would have
Drop the ham and cheese.
What? But you want to see it?
I remember that, boy.
What, Swordfish?
That was when she was out there with the titties out.
Mm-hmm.
She was a vampire. No,
that one was John Travolta.
That nigga was a hacker. The young nigga was a hacker.
Misdirection, Stanley. Misdirection. 6:22. Howbeit there are other boats from Tiberias nigh unto the place where they did eat bread. After that, the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Yahushua was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping, came to Capernaum, seeking for Yahushua. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when come you hither? Yahushua answered them and said, Truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me not. You seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perish, but for the meat which endure under everlasting life. Now, of course, he's talking about food, but we have to also take into account about riches. Let's look and see if the text talk about riches perishing. Come over here to Zephaniah chapter 1 real quick, right? And we'll come right back to John chapter 6. Abigail. Hi. No, Zephaniah 1. Ain't 6 chapters in there. He don't sound like he too happy. One and about, I guess 14 is sufficient. The great day of Yahuah is near. It is near and haste greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahuah. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities, against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they sinned against Yahuah, and their blood shall be poured out as the dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither shall their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahuwah's wrath. The whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, and he shall make speedy riddance of them that dwell in the land. Now, look at what he said, right? No silver and gold going to be able to do nothing for you. Hold on. Come over here to the book of Proverbs. I mentioned that verse last night. Let me get it now. My boy say he got cancer. Oh, that's unfortunate. Mediocre tutorial and review say he got cancer.
We said his daddy had it.
Oh, that might be what it is. That's what I think. I have cancer. Whatever the video's out there, I can't take it. I'm gonna listen to it right now. Proverbs 11:4. Proverbs 11:4. And it says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, which of course you just seen that in Zephaniah. He say, but righteousness deliver from death. Now we also going to be dealing with and establishing the fact that from righteousness extends riches. Just for that case, let's pull over here to the Epistle of James, chapter 2. All right, shaking your head. That's tough, ain't it?
Oh.
Well, hold on before you come over that. Come over here to Proverbs 11:28. Let's make it even more harder in the brain. Proverbs 11:28. He that trusts in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. So again, this is a key component. Can't trust in them. You know what I'm saying? And they don't deliver from wrath.
Hey, Mark.
Come over here to James chapter 2. The Epistle of James chapter 2. You can pick it up at verse 1. See, I know you hear a lot of dudes talk about stuff about women being hypergamous, but I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Men do too, because there's a lot of niggas penis ride dudes with money. Big groupies for niggas. You know what I'm talking about? That junk ain't cool. Because you'll see men who treat other men who got money way better than they treat somebody who don't. So, you know what I'm talking about? You got a lot of dudes do that junk. See, that junk just be the sad part is because you put more weight and more value on somebody, not because they might be a top-notch individual, because all you're looking at is what you can benefit from what that person has. Because if they didn't have it, you wouldn't care. 2-1, James. My brethren, have not faith of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, the Lord of esteem, with respect of persons. If there come up under your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and you have respect to him that wear the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit you here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand you there, or sit under my footstool? Are you not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not Elohim chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him? But you have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? Do not blaspheme that worthy name. Do they not blaspheme that worthy name by which you are called? Oh, Tehran say, they say they telling you to stock up on gold when the currency crashes. You will say they ain't gonna do you no good. Everybody trying to do everything to prepare for what's gonna happen versus preparing with Yahuah, because that junk ain't gonna matter. Ain't gonna matter what you're gonna do. You still gonna be subject to what the people got going on because you ain't got no power. And when you ain't got no, see, that's what you do when you ain't got no power. You seek things outside of the power source. I've been telling you that for years. You know, niggas think they can say they self. So they don't want to look to the Lord. Look to the Lord for what? I'm gonna stack up some food. I'm gonna stack up some money. We're gonna get some guns. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And you know what I'm saying? Bunker, and you're gonna bunk your butt because you're gonna get tried and tempted, nigga. See, that's what nigga running from is the temptation to serve another God. Because they know what they gonna do. I've been telling you that for years. Nigga know what they gonna do. Who? Beast? Shoot, where he at? I'll rub his back. Shoot, massage his balls. I do whatever you want me to do. That nigga died and came back. I seen it. Play with it. It ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no game. It's dead serious. That's what people like to do when they don't want to face confrontation. Let me go run and hide somewhere and think that that's going to help me out. I've been told you that. That's why niggas be wondering, we going to the wilderness. You ain't going nowhere. Oh, you going to face this. We'll finish in John 6. I did Deuteronomy 16. I don't even want to read Deuteronomy 12. It was other stuff in Genesis 15, man. Let's just get straight on to the point. Let's come back over here to that Genesis 15 right now, though. Let me do that. Back to Genesis 15 and 17. See, when it comes down to the come down, especially about what's going to occur in the earth, it's going to come down to what do you value the most? You know what I'm saying? Do you value your own life? Do you value the lifestyle that you have? Because see, in order to keep the lifestyle that you may have attained, you're going to have to do some things. Because guess what? This king power, it ain't going to be just shown in his wealth. He going to try to show his power and through overwhelming means of duplicity and violence. Because what does the text say that this particular king, who we will reject, how are he going to deceive people? Say what? Oh, I thought you said something over there, sir. Yeah, I thought that was you. How is he says that he's going to deceive people? Oh, y'all don't know how he say he gonna deceive people? Well, that's unfortunate. Hey, what you doing all that yellow for, cuz? Huh? What you doing all that for, cuz? What you say? That's in Revelation 13, but that ain't what it says specifically. That what he said he gonna do. Yes, he's gonna come with peace. Daniel 8. Say through peace and through craft. He going to deceive many. I'm trying to like to say because it's specific verses in Daniel 8, picking about verse 22. Somewhere in there. I mean, again, this is can't have generalities when it says specifically what he's going to do. And you know why he coming with peace? Because the Lamb came as what? As Solomon, as a man of peace. He's mimicking him. See, a lot of people feel like he gonna come up now with the pandemic. You know what I'm talking about? And see, bring peace, but that's not bringing no peace in the earth. Ain't no chaos going on because niggas don't want to get a vaccine. Ain't no chaos going on. But see, this also this situation show because you know the number one people who pressing people who get nervous. We was out on the job site the other day, and doggone lady was like, "Where y'all masks at?" I'm like, "Baby, we outside." What I look like walking around with a mask on outside? Anywhere I done went at where somebody was fearful about the nigga not having on the mask, it was a woman. They ain't had too many men say nothing like that. They might look at you crazy, but women be vocal about it. Well, you don't got a mask on. This, that, there, and the third. Because they're fearful. I mentioned that because that is the reason why women can't be in leadership positions. They're way more prone to fear than men are. And through that fear, they're going to make knee-jerk reactions. So that's one of the reasons why they want men to be effeminized. Because the more feminized the man is, the more in tune he is with his emotions, the easier he is to control. And we already talked about it. Y'all know about silent weapons for quiet wars. If you don't, look it up. If you don't know about Behold a Pale Horse, go look it up. Only reason why I'm mentioning those advents and also a book called New World Order, not because of no New World Order, but because they specifically outlined the number one thing that they were seeking to do, and that was to destroy the family. If you want to destroy a society, all you have to do is destroy the family. And the only way you can destroy the family is to destroy the man. Once you destroy the man, everything else falls into place. And y'all should know that from the text. How should you know that from the text that if you want to destroy a family, destroy the man? All you got to do is look at Adam and Eve, because the best way to destroy the man is to go through his woman and influence her. You can influence her, she can influence him if he gives his strength over to his woman. And then the family is done after that. After that, you can network and move people however you want to move. It's just the games they play. You had to be hip to it. And that's just not a racial thing. That's what they're doing to every group of people on the planet. The man is the strength of the whole household. There's no strength in no woman. Nobody don't fear no woman. A woman is not a threat to anyone on the earth. Ain't nobody worried that they can give you all them t-shirts, the The future is female and black girl magic and all that junk. They give you that junk because they know you stupid enough to believe it. Because a whole bunch of dudes sat in a room and said, how can we get these stupid behind women? Let's come up with this and give them that. So they can go against a man and do this, and that destroys the children. Children are always better with the father and the mother versus just one. They're always better with that, and they know that. We the only ones that feel like it's good to be separated, that it'll work out better because you're selfish. Yeah, they don't like to talk about that. See, that's hard right there. The Lord don't promote it, do it. Wow. You don't promote none of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you destroy a generation. Look here, I ain't trying to be funny. But y'all generation and then the generation after y'all are some of the dumbest individuals I've ever seen in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't that old, so that's saying something. Because niggas we have some dumb niggas now, but they wasn't this dumb. This is a dumb group of young people. And these are people that's supposed to lead you in the future. So look at some of your peers. Do you think that some of these niggas you went to school with, work with, that you would trust them to make decisions that would affect your life? Shalom, Brother Craig. I'm talking about that. You got to really look at that. The people you grew up with are eventually going to be in positions of authority and power. You know what I'm talking about? Eventually, they're going to have some authority and power and make decisions on your life. Some of your peers eventually are going to be councilmen, mayors, congressmen, probably not presidents. You know what I'm talking about? Senators and the such. And these niggas are stupid. Not just black folks, I'm talking about white folks too. The white children stupid too. Shoot, play with it. You don't even realize how most of these young kids, man, can't even conform complete sentences. Can't even give you a coherent thought. Oh, I told you that last night, boy. If you got a son, you better raise him to be a king. It's tough sledding out here. How you expect a generation of dudes raised by music, TV, and their mama gonna lead somebody? Nigga around here looking up to an athlete. Nigga, that ain't no leader, nigga. Nigga around here trying to look at LeBron James. Man, bump that nigga. That nigga ain't no leader. Where in the history of humankind has an athlete led a massive amount of people? You know why that's the case? Because we respect as a person, because you put a nigga's ability based on how much money he can make. And they know you that stupid. That's feminine. If you look at a man and you feel like his ability to lead and do stuff is contingent to how much money he make, that's what women do. Men are supposed to look at where his character is at, what his morals and principles are, and how he directs and guides and leads his life, not how much money he got. What? You find something human? You laughing at your son? Oh, don't laugh at your son. Genesis 15-17. It came to pass that when the sun down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. Now, of course, you know when this happened, this is when Abraham got his what? When the smoking furnace and the burning lamp passed between those two pieces, this is when he got his what? Now, this is the key part. I didn't mention this here. Part. When they say pieces, that word is part. It's gazer, gamal, zayin, and rash. You can give me what you got for it, and it literally means something cut off, a part, a portion, a piece. Saran said his sister's been in contact with somebody at work who was double vaccinated, and her children allegedly have COVID. Because she's vaccinated, she doesn't need to isolate, but everyone must isolate for 10 days. I can test for whatever. I ain't isolating nowhere. I bet I go out the door. I'm doing whatever I want to do. Niggas walk around here, they ain't isolating, nigga got AIDS. Nigga walk around here, nigga got all manner of diseases. Ain't nobody staying to the house. Nigga, if the junkies ain't staying in, I ain't staying in. I'm going outside, nigga. We outside. That's what the niggas in New York say. We outside. Well, I'm going outside. You got Gamal, Zayin, and Raj. Part. Something cut off. Peace. So remember, the smoking furnace and the burning lamp pass between the piece or something that's been cut off. Gamal, Zayin, and Raj.
That's for
pieces. Damn, I gotta crank it up.
you see the highest cut off the pride.
You can't open it?
Yeah. Pride to be cut off from the highest.
Say the messenger been cut off from the highest. Uh-oh. Yahuah been cut off for his parts.
He required.
It don't make sense.
Good part.
She desired a good part. A good part. So let's look at that. Him being cut off for his parts. Hold on. I think this first came to my mind for that.
He required a good part.
But let's take a look at Matthew 16 and 19 just on the strength. So we'll make it 16 and 21. We'll get straight on to it. Hey, let me get them goldfish, cuz. Let me get them goldfish. Matthew 16:21. From that time forth began Yahuah to show unto his disciples how he must go unto Jerusalem, suffer many things of the elders, chief priests, and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the third day. So we're looking at that part because in this regard, he has to be cut off in this place at this time as a burning lamp. Do you remember what that word was for burning lamp? Smoking furnace, all that good stuff. Let's take a look. Smoking, first and foremost, is a san, a shan, ayin, shan, and noon. So we know that Yahuah had to experience being consumed in order to bring forth life, because smoke is smoke, but also it means figuratively wrath. So you see the smoke of the furnace, the smoke of his anger. Now, when we turn around and we look at furnace, you know that's the oven pot. That's the tenor. And that is of Elohim's wrath. Let's take a look at Son of Deuteronomy 32 if you want. Deuteronomy 32, verse 17. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Elohim, the gods whom they knew not, the new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat you, you are unmindful, you have forgotten Elohim that formed you. And when Yahuah saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are very forward generation, sons in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy, which that is with that which is not of Elohim. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. What do you believe that means when he say he'll set on fire the foundation of the mountains? Oh, the mountains ain't the people.
The government.
The government.
The government. The government.
Come over here to Jeremiah chapter 15. 15 and 6.
We'll have a seat.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 6.
No, that's mine, baby.
You have forsaken me, saith Yahuah. You are gone backwards. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against you and destroy you. I am weary with repenting. I will fan them with the fan in the gates of the land. I will bereave them of children. I will destroy my people since they return not from their ways. The widows are increased to me above the sands of the sea. I have brought upon them against the mother of young men a spoiler at noon. I've caused them to fall upon it suddenly, and the terrors upon the city. She that have, no, not the elements here. No, we ain't talking about the elements here. That's a little different avenue. She have borne seven. She that have borne seven languish. She that have given up the ghost, her son is gone down while it is yet day. She have been ashamed and confounded, and the residue of them will I deliver to the sword before the enemy, saith Yahuah. Can anyone tell me what has been communicated in verse 9? Scriptures only, please. Scriptures only, please. Hey, all y'all need to get it together. While you trying to chew on some Cheerios, you need to be paying attention, because I don't give a damn about them Cheerios.
Is these
That's not America, no.
the seven
You got to have script. I can't take no generalities.
Okay.
I threw that out there on the first place, so I got the whole to it.
is I dealing with Proverbs 6:16, the same abomination I believe for his death.
No, it says she that have borne seven languish. She has, yeah, that's verse 9. Jeremiah 15 and 9.
Oh, almost 16. No wonder I said that. That definitely, I don't know what if that is been that.
I'll tell you what born means. Born. You're led. That's the birth, to bring forth. To bring to the birth, to beget a child. Language, amal, to be weak, to grow feeble. She that have borne seven languish, she's given up the ghost. Her son is gone down while it is yet day. She have been ashamed and confounded, and the residue of them will I deliver to the sword before their enemies, saith Yahuah. Unfaithful Yasharal? No, not in that instance. Hey man, put the Cheerios up. Put them up. Put them up. That's the end of that. No, put your hand up, turn around, pay attention, close your mouth. Pick your chin up. Go out the door. Go outside. Go outside and cry to yourself. Nobody want to hear this. Don't comfort him. Don't comfort him. He don't need no comfort. Hush, boy. Well, come here then. Come here. Don't look at your brother. Come on. Oh, so it wasn't a problem.
Is he doing the seven houses in Revelation?
You say on the stage. You talking about it? Like I said, the reason I'm asking to be specific. Number one, would say born there was she language. So I give you the state. So then when you had to look at, see, y'all looking at the stuff, y'all make it a little harder. That should have been very easy, especially the part where she give up the ghost. First thing should have came to your mind was the John, and he give up and he bowed his head, gave up the ghost. Then you should look that her son has gone down while it was yet day. That should have been very easy because he caused it to go dark at the 9th hour.
I was stuck at born seven languages. I was stuck there. I couldn't get off that.
I was thinking that, but you wanted to.
Meaning when I say one scripture, mean you just can't throw a generality. You would have to be specific on what you're referencing.
What would you use for the seven languages?
The seven language, what you just mentioned, but you have to combine all of them together. You got it incomplete. She that is born. He had already told you that in John 16 about when the woman go into childbirth, she feel pain, but when a man child is born, it goes away. So he's referencing the fact that he is about to go to the birth.
So that the 7 churches.
Then you go with them. And then the language is for the toil and the pain because of his suffering. So that's what I mean. You have to take it and you got to reference them all, because you could throw one, but that's an incomplete level of understanding. So if you was trying to explain that to somebody else and just say, oh yeah, he had the 7 houses, you have not thoroughly explained that matter. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm asking for y'all to, you're going to have to, if you was taking an exam and you handed me that, I would have gave you a wrong answer, because that's an incomplete statement. That's not even a complete thought.
I would just need a little more time to patch all that.
Hey, I mean, it wasn't no rush.
Said no to him.
Because that's not the whole thing.
Well, like I said, it was half, so it's still good.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. But you take it all together, because you got 2 to 3 different things in one sentence. She have born. He's giving birth. So the John 16 should have came to your mind. The Isaiah 66 should have came to your mind. You know what I'm talking about? The John 19, with him getting hit on the side, come to mind. Your Genesis 2, with Eve pulling Adam out of his side. Eve out of his side should come to mind. Now you got the 7. So now you got your Isaiah 4. You got your Exodus chapter 2 with the 7 daughters at the well. Boom. Now you got the language, the suffering. And then you could just cherry pick suffering from anywhere you like. You know what I'm saying? That's when you move to give up the ghost. So you know, my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? But then, of course, specifically, the John 19, where he's giving up the ghost, where he say that. Bowed his head, gave it up. Now the sun going down, that's too easy. Because you can go to Amos 8, you're complete. But look at what he said, right? She have been ashamed and confounded. Well, did they not put him to shame? Okay, I got 30 minutes for you in that bread. Remember, you say was he not ashamed? Did they not put him to shame? Then when you take that, the residue of them will I deliver to the sword before their enemies. Well, who is the residue? The residue is your Luke 21, that you'll be taken by the Gentiles and scattered in the 4 corners of the earth, and you depart from this city because of what you've done. Let's continue in verse 10 of Jeremiah 15. And all this is still talking about a smoking furnace. Because what did we look at, right? The messenger has been cut. He's been sacrificed by the highest. This is what happened to him. Because what is the smoking furnace? This is the anger or the smoke of his wrath. Hey, come here.
Would you say the furnace of affliction too, or no?
You can, but I'm just trying not to focus on that. Amen. Amen. Hey, you're not even giving up real tears. So you're fake and you're phony. Don't you pull for me, boy. Look at me, boy. Cut it out. Or you can go sit right outside on the back porch by yourself. Would you like to do that? Oh, you would? Well, get out then. Don't get out. That's what I thought. Woe is me, my mother that have borne me, a man of strife, a man of contention to the whole earth. I neither lent on usury, nor men have lent to me on usury, yet everyone do curse me. Remember, right? We just read this last night. Everyone who lived godly in Mashiach is going to be persecuted. Because you're going to be a man of strife and contention to whoever you go, to wherever you go, because you're going to be contrary to everyone around you. That's why he say you'll be hated by all nations for his name's sake. They're going to despise you. Yahuah said, truly it shall be well with my remnant. Truly I will cause the enemy to entreat you well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. Shall iron break the northern iron and the steel? Your substance and your treasures will I give to the spoil without price, and for all your sins, even in all your borders. And I will make you to pass with your enemies into a land which you know not, for a fire is kindled in my anger, which shall burn you up. Now listen to this, back this up a little bit. Listen what he said, right? Shall iron break the northern iron and the steel? He said, I will cause the enemy to entreat you well in the time of your evil and the time of your affliction. Listen, who's doing all that screaming? I want you to look at entreat. That is pagah. That is to meet, to light upon. So he said your enemies will meet you in the time of evil, in the time of affliction. Now we have to ascertain, what does this mean? How will his enemies meet you? Let's look at John 18.
I've heard you, son. Why don't you talk right now? That's the best way.
Well, John 19, actually. 19:1. Hey, children, all of y'all need to sit down and be quiet. Stop playing, stop talking, sit down, be still, be quiet. Because if you don't want to be still and be quiet, you can walk to the furthest end of that yard and you can place your face in that fence and you can stay out there until the conclusion of the festivities this afternoon. Because I don't want to hear your voice no more. Am I clear? Do you understand? Please try me and see how you'll be standing outside with your face in the fence. And if you got to pee, I guess you're going to piss on yourself. John 19:1. Then Pilate therefore took Yahuah and scourged him. Well, we could really back it at 18 and 28. That's when he really meet him for the first time. Then they led Yahuah from Capheus unto the hall of judgment, and it was early, and they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, that they might eat the Passover. And Pilate went unto them and said, what accusation bring you against this man? And they answered and said unto him, if he were not a malefactor, we would have not delivered him up unto you. Do y'all remember what a malefactor is? Glover, do you know what a malefactor is?
Somebody that commit a crime.
For the most part. What you say? An evildoer? That's sufficient. You know what a malefactor is, Michael? Well, what is it? No, I said that. That's what she said. I mean, that's not the strict definition, but it's close enough. Malefactor is a criminal. Huh? Look, a malefactor by strict definition is a criminal. So you could be an evildoer and not be a criminal. But you can't be a criminal and not be an evildoer. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you can be an evildoer and not be a criminal. So you could do evil. So you could be a malicious, spiteful person, but not commit a crime. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reason why they stating that, because he is in the midst of his enemies. Because they sat back and told this man that this man was a criminal with no crime that they could bring forth that he had committed against the Roman Empire for one. But let's look what they said. Then Pilate said unto them, take you him and judge him according to your law. The Yahudim therefore said unto him, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death. This is also the divergent difference of kingdoms then and now. Do you not notice that he said judge him according to what? So that means Romans had a set of laws, Jews had a set of laws, and those people lived according to the set of laws of the culture of which they belonged to. Do you not recall what's in Acts chapter 16, what they said to Paul and his companions? Oh, y'all don't know, do you? It's not lawful for us Romans to receive. They say, you bringing us stuff, hey, man, we don't do that over here. See, that's not the case now. When you go into a country now, amongst a culture of people, you assimilate to the laws that they have. It's not, oh, you go to Japan and you got American laws and you got Japanese laws. Because if you violate something that's not unlawful in America, in Japan, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come from Greece and violate something that in America that's lawful in Greece, you're going to an American jail. They ain't going to tell you, oh, judge them according to your law. Notice that he say, hey, we ain't don't send them to no court systems or none of this here. That's your people. You deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I was telling the lady earlier. There's no such thing as racism. I don't understand what. If any of you ever looked at any kingdoms, dominions, I'll give you an example. Are y'all familiar with the Ottoman Empire? You familiar with the Ottoman Empire? So in the midst of the Ottoman Empire, when the Turks basically civilized the entire swath of Europe, did at any time did the Ottomans allow anybody who they conquered to become equal or greater than them? When Genghis Khan, y'all know who Genghis Khan is, don't you? When Genghis Khan was pillaging young girls' vaginas and all the killing that he was doing, did he allow anybody outside of his people to become greater or higher than them? When the Moors took over the entire swath of Europe, it is the same. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? We already read it in our text. When you was in the land, did anybody outside of Yasharal get higher than you? What did your law say you couldn't do in regards to leadership? Can't set no stranger over you. We don't do that over here. Strangers ain't that. He said that as you are, so they should be right. But when it came down to power and authority, they would never. That would be considered racism. If we would take the people who live in this day and time right now, they would say that's racist. Why can't a Gentile, why can't a Hamite be king in Yasharal? That ain't right, because that's the rules, nigga. If I wanted a stranger to be king, then I just would have been to them people and made them my people. That's how Yahuah look at it. That's not what he desires. But that's what they say, right? Everybody should be equal. This is the only time period in human history where people say everybody should be equal and equal footing in the same dominion. That has never been propagated throughout entire human history. Look it up. Take your time. Go read about the Babylonian Empire. Go read about these empires and see if they did this here. When Alexander the Great was going around, that's the purpose of conquering. They call it conquering, and what they call them white folks now after you watch Black Panther, what they say? Colonizers. Ain't that what you call it? Every race of people been a colonizer. You just happen to be in the generation of them colonizing. That's it. But I'm mentioning that because that's being historically disingenuous. Because you don't want to sit back and acknowledge that your ancestors did the same thing when they ruled. Yes, you can charge usury to a stranger and hold them for the debts to the year of release. By definition, that's why a lot of people get mad. The Bible promotes slavery. Yes, of other people who aren't Israelites. But what would that be technically if we was to live that set? And let's just say they gave us the whole state of Texas. And let's just say everybody who adheres to the word of Yahuah lives in the entire state of Texas. And we live like that. They would say Texas is the most racist state in the continental United States. Because if you were not an Israelite and you say, I want to live here, and I could charge you 75% interest on $100, and I would be just. But I can't charge him that. By definition, that's racist. I'm discriminating against another group of people.
But in the law, if they live by the book, it was the same.
But you can still tax them. Don't matter. Still tax them. They can live by the book all they want. But I can tax you, though, and not be wrong. But if I tax you, I'm wrong. You ain't blood. You know what I'm talking about? You got to live how we live. Same way we read. Well, Solomon ain't tax Yasharal like he taxed them strangers. Because remember what the law say. Can't rule over them with rigor. They my servants. Them ain't your servants. See, people don't like that. I'm just referencing that for a point because I just had the greater conversation. You're in power. You're going to make sure that your people stay in power. Because somebody did a story about the white woman effect. How you always see white women on TV when they go up missing and why they don't give the same coverage to black women missing. Why would they care about black women missing? That's the question you're supposed to ask yourself. What bothers you is why they don't care is because you feel like they should care. But why would a white man care about another race of people's women over his own or equal to his own? Only black people think like that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Only black people and liberals think that a man should hold another group of women equal to or greater than his own woman. No self-respecting man is going to do that. You know what I'm talking about? That's not going to happen. And there's nothing wrong with that. I ain't going to look at no white, why do they care about their white women going missing? Because that's his woman. Why wouldn't he? Why they always put white children up missing? Those are his children. If you don't like it, nigga, make you a network and put your missing kids and missing women on them. You know what I'm talking about? And circulate it in areas in the arena. Because you got the internet now, so you don't need network television. You don't need it. Come on, man. This nigga Kevin Sam got 1 million people subscribed to his channel, man. That means if there was something that somebody came up missing, it could definitely, it's not going to reach as many people as ABC going to reach.
But like you say, the demographic is
But it's going to reach some people regardless.
75% of them people is black.
It's black.
At least.
At least.
If a black person missing, he's going to do better than the news.
But indeed. But then look at this part, though. He's a part of a greater community of people that if he did it, other people are going to join in. Like I say, it may not have the reach of Fox News, but it can get it out there. But you would rather complain why he won't do this for me, because once he does that, then you feel like, see, I'm loved and equal to him in his eyes because he found me valuable enough to put my missing women up there. I don't subscribe to that. No, I understand what you're saying, Saran. You care about Yahuah's people more than any other race of people or your blood family, but we have to be dishonest. Whether you serve Yahuah or not, every race of men is going to be, because why is that the case? Because that woman was made for him. You understand what I'm saying? That Asian woman was made for that Asian man. That Middle Eastern woman was made for that Middle Eastern man. That, you know what I'm talking about? That white woman was made for that white man. That doesn't make you less than because you are more concerned with the woman who was made for you. There's nothing wrong with that. The African woman was made for the African man. What does the text tell you a man's supposed to feel about his wife? To love his wife as his own self. So that's just what that is. That is inherent. That is human nature. Nothing wrong with it. Let's continue back to Jeremiah 15. I'm sorry. Let's look at the iron breaking the northern iron and the steel. Oh, somebody want whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. What do y'all think this means about shall iron break the northern iron and the steel? Now, when you look at steel, I'm going to let you read it. It's nekosheth, noon, kot, shan, and tau. It means copper or bronze, but also means lust and harlotry. Also brazen, brass, chain, copper. Lust and harlotry, figuratively. Shall the iron break the northern iron and the steel?
Is the northern talking about Judah?
No, it's just strictly northern. Now, steel here is barzel, which is iron, but also harshness, strength, and oppression. So shall the iron break the northern oppression and the lust and harlotry. That's how you would want to view that. Remember the verse that come before it. It will be well with the remnant. I will cause them to entreat you well in the time of your affliction. So let's look at it this here, right? Shall iron break the northern iron and the steel? You have to determine who is the iron. What is the iron? The word is the iron, which breaks what? The northern oppression. What is the oppression? The people are being oppressed by the devil. What is the steel? The steel is the lust and harlotry which the people had. See, we can read this in Hosea 4 because I shared this with a brother. I like I shared this with a brother the other day. Something that we done already talked about on numerous occasions, which is he say you are joined to harlots, so therefore he won't punish your wives for being adulterers and adulteresses because you are. Because you lust after other gods. See, sometimes in this instance, a lot of times in the text when they're talking about lust, he's talking about the people lusting after other gods.
And get up and sit in the chair and be quiet.
Hey, come on over here, let me holler at you. Come on over here, let me holler at you. I said, come over here and let me holler at you. Well, if I ask you again, it's going to be a problem. And walk around, nigga. Walk around. Walk around.
Trouble. No saying that.
What's your problem? Pick up your feet when you walk. See, right now you phony. You can't even look me in my eyes, so you're lying. Think somebody care about them fake show of emotions you doing? Pick your head up and look at me when I'm talking to you. You're phony and you're fraudulent. Look at you, want to laugh. Stop playing with me in my house. Go sit down. Come back over here. Come on back over here. Nothing, nigga. Bring your black behind back over. Hey, man, you ain't no hood booger slut hoe. Pick up your feet and walk like a man. Walk like a man. Go back over. Cut that junk out. What may I do for you? Did I ask for you? Did I summon you? And depart from me. Go sit in your chair. Hosea chapter 4, you can pick it up at verse 6. Carry yourself like a young man supposed to. But see how you just went all that? See, I know you be lying like this here. So I don't go for it. So you're doing stuff that girls do. Trying to whip somebody with some sadness in the back of the eye. Nobody going for that. Because when you get grown, ain't no men going to go for it. They going to laugh at you. And call you all type of names you ain't going to like. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge. I will also reject you. You shall be no priest to me, seeing how you have forgotten the law of your Elohim. I will also forget your children. Now, does anybody know of the verse that refers to knowledge and riches in the same sentence? If not, it's okay, because I will share it with you. It's not in Proverbs. Oh, it don't say rich. That's my fault. But we'll use it anyway.
What do you have in mind?
Huh?
What you have in mind?
No, riches came to my brain, but that's not what it says. That's not what it says. Well, it's close enough. So yeah, that's what it came. Y'all ain't got nothing for me? Come on to Isaiah 33 real quick, like right? Isaiah 33 and 5. I say it's close enough because it's treasure. And we talk about your treasure being in heaven. So it's close enough. But riches came to my brain, but then the stability of the times came in. I'm like, dang, riches is not in there. That wisdom will be the stability of your time. Nevertheless, Isaiah 33 and 5. Yahuah is exalted, for he dwell on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of your times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of Yahuah is his treasure. Now, the fear of Yahuah is what? The beginning of knowledge, according to Proverbs 1. We're talking about this here because the people rejected knowledge. So that means they're rejecting riches. How many of y'all would turn down a few $1 million? That's the first thing. Depending on what you're asking me, what's the context of you giving it to me? But some people, I ain't turning down no money. And they might ask you to do some uncouth things.
First thing, what you need.
You know what I'm saying? What's the catch? You know what I'm talking about? Some people like this, because that's how they feel. You know, they've been riding on Kyrie. That nigga ain't gonna take the vaccine. That nigga stupid. Hey man, everything in your life can't be, as a man, everything you do can't be motivated by money. That's what they teach you in this society, that you stupid if you turn down money, and everything you do as a man cannot be motivated by the gathering and bringing in of money.
Or whatever you do is permissible
as long as you're getting paid, and it's a lot of money. So you should compromise how you feel and what you stand for some money. This is what they tell men to do. Yeah, that's what they do. Long as you compensate it, shoot, put them panties on. Kiss that man in the mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
And you respect it too. That's how niggas feel.
Can't do it as a man. This is my point on, if you want to destroy people, destroy the men, because that's not manly principles. That's not something that men should be standing on. That I'm going to compromise my masculinity for a check. Because you got to go look at your son in the face. Tired of that, boy. Go outside. All that flopping around you doing. Hey, be quiet. Come here then. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Back to Hosea chapter 4. We're in verse 6. I'll read it again. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because you have rejected knowledge. I will also reject you. You shall be no priest to me, seeing you have forgotten the law of your Elohim. I will also forget your children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Will I change their esteem into shame? They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on iniquity. And there shall be like people to priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them for their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to Yahuah. You see that now amongst our people. Our people have a lot of sex, but your numbers ain't going up. It might seem like it, but also you have to take into account that you got a lot of women whose wombs are a graveyard, which is unfortunate. You got a lot of women that aborted a lot of babies, boy, and no matter how she want to look at it, you's a killer. Verse 11, whoredom and wine, new wine take away the heart. My people add counsel at their stocks. Their staff declare unto them, for the ruach of whoredoms have caused them to err. They've gone a whoring from under their Elohim. They sacrifice upon the top of mountains and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughter shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery, for they themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that do not understand shall fall. What does that sound like that he has just communicated to you? Well, I'll tell you what he's just communicated to you. He just sat back and told you that your daughters can be a whore and your wives can be an adulteress, and he ain't gonna punish them because you've been asking counsel from the stocks, setting up groves on the mountains and worshiping other gods. So you a whore just like them. And he said everybody who don't understand this is going to fall. Look at what he said. He said they sacrifice with harlots. Do you recall what we read in Revelation 2 when he said that he would kill Jezebel because she teach his servants to do what? It doesn't say whoredom specifically. Y'all don't know what it said? It said to teach them to commit fornication. In this instance, that fornication wasn't referring to sexual activity. It was talking about they were laying with other gods. You have to remember that Yahuah equated us as his wife. So when you went and served another god, it was akin to committing a lewd act or adultery. So when you see that in a lot of, because remember, he's communicating this in a fashion that you can relate to. A man-woman dynamic is something that everyone can relate to. So you can understand the gravity of what you're doing. See, most people don't want to understand that. That's a grave thing for a man, for his wife to go astray. Like I said, like I mentioned that like the dude, I'm telling you, man, I've been telling y'all this for years. It's always different if a man sleep with another woman on his wife than when a woman do it. It's not the same. Women don't love men the way that men love women. You don't. I don't care what you say. That's your emotions talking. But you don't. I guarantee you, your man love you more than he love you, than you love him. Give me a moment.
You come?
Sit down, baby. I got pork pie. You don't.
Get to. No. Listen, you go.
No, I thought you said put it in the trash. The husband said put it in the trash.
I told you to hand it to me.
You told me to put it in the trash.
I told you to hand it to me, not the husband.
So you gotta talk to your wife.
I'm talking to you.
No.
No.
You were supposed to complete the order.
I'm talking to you. I said hand it to me, don't hand it to me.
Your first order was trash. I thought you were gonna execute your
All right,
order.
the first order was it couldn't happen because the trash was too far. Then I said hand it to
You
me.
did, bro. I apologize.
Thank you.
I thought you.
Okay, it's cool. You keep it at that.
Yes, sir. I apologize.
It's cool.
All right, y'all. Now, the reason why I referenced that is regards to what we were talking about last night. We didn't love him; he loved us. Now, the reason why I reference this here because we have to deal with the constructs of the society that we live in. So let's just talk about popular media, movies, and music in this fashion. And then we'll move on, because I'm trying to be pretty swift with it. As far as ladies is concerned, and then the gentleman can proceed. Do you perceive that from the media that you have consumed, that the overwhelming theme is that women love their man more than that man loves his woman? I'm not talking about your direct experiences. I'm talking about media. Because regardless if we want to accept it, media is what shapes a lot of people's perspective. Most of your people, your parents were. Most people don't even come from a two-parent home. So for the shaping of a male-female interaction and how those things go is shaped from popular media. Would you agree?
Agree that it's shaped from popular media? Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking that question. I'm not asking this question to be a douche. I'm asking this question because I have seen through 30 plus years of observation that people's perspectives on how male-female dynamics are shaped according to popular media because that's what people consume. And then they go out in life and try to recreate a vision that has been shared to them. I can say that I have observed through popular media that it is always dictated that the woman is more valuable than the man, that the woman loves the man more than the man loves her, and that it is a more devastating factor to her when the situation departs than it is to him. They always show her she's sad at the house eating ice cream and all this other type of stuff. But like I told you the other day, Joe Rogan put it best. You got men who strap bombs to their chest and blow themselves up for the hope of getting 72 virgins. Boy, ain't no woman sacrificing herself no man's penis. I ain't never heard no woman doing no suicide bombers, no none of that stuff with the hopes of getting to be a virgin for a man who killed himself. There are things that women will not do to get a man that men will do in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So there's the difference. You know what I'm talking about? If a man is fully invested in a woman, that type of pain that he gonna have if that woman depart is going to be way greater, because a woman can leave a nigga and get with another dude as if that other man never existed. Dudes don't be sitting around plotting and planning, I got a backup chick if this chick don't work out. Women do that and acknowledge it and say it openly, and nobody has a problem with it. So of course, there's a difference, because when you're looking at being involved with a man and a woman, that woman is not as invested in that man as that man is invested in her. This is why Yahuah has an aspect of, you're going to have to be just as invested into me as I invested into you if you expect to receive the benefit of my kingdom that you desire. Because y'all already know that most women do not invest anything in the outcome of being with a man that man is going to have to put in. And they demand that men put certain things in to even get their attention, unless he's the man that gets her sexually aroused, and he doesn't have to invest anything. That's why dudes get offended when chicks be like, "Oh, you gotta do this, this, and this," and you got a lot of niggas you didn't make do any of those things. That means you found them niggas to be more sexually attractive. So why would I invest all of that? A man has to invest his whole life, sweat, and tears into a woman. What is he going to get in return? That's why Yahuah wants what in return? Faith and obedience. I'm going to give you all of these things, if I'm going to invest my riches into you, because we just read this verse in Jeremiah, right? He said, I'm going to take your riches and your treasure. Did he not? So if I'm going to take all of that and pour that into you, I'm going to have to get something back on my investment. Because if you invest in something, what are you looking to get back? A rate of return. So if I invest in something, I want something. Would any of you invest in any type of financial instrument, but you ain't going to get nothing in return ever? You just want to keep pouring money into it, but you never get nothing back. That makes absolutely no sense. Pick your head up. Don't drop your head. Hold your head up like a man. See, you're phony. And see, I know you be phony. So let me read that Jeremiah 15 for you. 1:15. He said, your substance and your treasures will I give to a spoil without price. Let's look at that without price real quick. Like, that's for hire, McCurr. Can you imagine if somebody gave away your treasures and your riches for nothing? They didn't have to pay nothing to get them. There was nothing what does that sound like to you if I say, I'm going to take your substance and your treasures and will give them for spoil without price? What does that sound like to you? Indeed. That wasn't what I was aiming for. You know what it actually sounds like? It sounds like the grace and mercy of Elohim, that you got his substance and treasure without price. You ain't have to pay nothing for it. What did we just end and read last night? We know that Yahushua HaMashiach was rich, but through his poverty, he made us rich. He took this man's substance and treasure and gave it to you without price. You didn't have to pay nothing for it.
I want to look at it. Because at the same breath, only people get it if people choose to get it too. So it's like, it's still too full.
Indeed, but I want y'all to look at substance. What is substance here? It's Ka'il. Y'all know what that means. What that mean? That's strength. That's strength right there. That's valor. And then, of course, you got treasures. And what is that? Otsar. That is treasures. That is storehouse. That is gold. That is silver. So he's taking his strength and his riches and giving it away for no hire. You didn't have to pay for it. Let's look at that as forth as a free gift. Romans chapter 5. Because we still talking about them riches, ain't it? What did we just read last night? Where your heart is, your treasure will be also. So that means where your strength and your riches at, wherever your mind is at, that's what your strength and your riches going to be at. That's why what do we always reference? Trust in Yahuah forever, for trust in Yahuah's everlasting strength. So that means if you have that, it means you have his riches. That's why he said those who are poor, yet what? Rich in what? Faith. If you have faith, you're going to have his strength and you're going to have his riches. That's why I said they rejected riches, because they rejected knowledge. That man was offering free money and they said, no, I don't want it. Because remember, we started with Proverbs 13:7, right? Ended with that last night. What did it say? There are some who have great riches yet have what? Nothing. And there are those who have nothing yet have great riches. So you have to look at that. We know a lot of people, man. A lot of black folks don't like to hear it because you idolize celebrities and athletes. LeBron James got great riches. He doesn't have anything. Michael Jordan has great riches. He doesn't have anything. Oprah Winfrey has great riches. She doesn't have anything. Jay-Z has great riches. He doesn't have anything, because in the day of judgment, his riches are not going to be able to deliver him. They're not going to be able to deliver him. That man don't care nothing about that. He's going to take all these people's resources and give it to his saints. We read that last week, did we not, in Isaiah 60? These people are going to take all their resources. Are you familiar with Ecclesiastes chapter 2 when he say to the sinner, he give travail and pain to heap up and give to those who are godly before Yahuah? That's what they're going to do. So like I say, man, we could talk about them people's forth and what they do, but when you get to the root of it, I don't give a damn about none of them people, man. The people evil is all outdoors. That man don't care nothing about all that. So they're not anyone to look at and to aspire to. They just have to use them for what they for, their entertainment. And that's it. These niggas are minstrel shows. That man don't care nothing about no doggone, what his name is, Elon Musk. Don't care about none of them people. Because when them people stand before him, a lot of people feel like when they stand before the Lord, they're going to be like, man, he dropped 81 points in the game. He did this, he did, and they think he cared. I can remember being legit, watching sporting events and be like, why do these people think God care about who win a game? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, these people talk about that. I want to thank God for my performance today. Why would he be with you to run football routes? You know what I'm saying? That made no sense to me. Of all the things that the creator of all things could be concerned with, he concerned with you running a route on Sundays. When you say this the Lord's day, but you ain't at his house, you playing football today. Come on, man.
That's right.
That to me, it just didn't make sense. Let's get on back, man. I know I mentioned that Luke 12 the other night. Let's come on and look at it, because I can't remember the stuff I was looking at when I was reading with brother, which means clearly it's not important. Yeah, but I came to that Jeremiah 15 because what did he say? That there was a fire kindled in his anger which would burn him up, right? Oh, who is that? Is that Joe? That's Joe. That's Joe. 12 and 49. After that, Revelation 2. Come here, Joe. Come here, Joe. Come on, Joe. Oh, I know it. He need a V8. That's all. He should have drunk him one. Because he phoned. He'd be crying, but there won't really be no tears. That nigga just be like, dang, they won't let me do what I want. Luke 12 and 49. I come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? I have an immersion to be immersed with. How am I straight until it be accomplished? Now, he said he came to send fire on the earth. What is that fire that he came to send? John the Baptist told you. Let's take a look at it. Matthew chapter 3. She called your whole name. She'd hit the middle name, he'd have been in trouble. We can pick it up at verse 7. Matthew chapter 3, verse 7. After that, I said Revelation. It is in Revelation 2. It's Revelation 3. It's Revelation 3 and 13 is where we'll start at after that. You know what I'm saying? After that, Revelation 3 and 13, Proverbs chapter 8. Remember what we read and what he told you, right? He said, don't labor for the meat that perish, but for the meat that endure to everlasting life, or the treasures that lead to everlasting life. But we can get caught up in that. And again, I'm referencing the parable of the sower. What did he say? The seed that fall amongst the thorns is choked off because of what? The cares and affairs of this life and the deceitfulness of riches.
That's right.
Because riches will deceive you.
That's right.
And that reminded me we had to do what was in 1 Timothy 3 and 7, Matthew. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his immersion, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bring forth, therefore, fruits meet for repentance. And think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to our father. I say unto you that Elohim is able of these stones to raise up sons unto Abraham. And now also is the axe laid unto the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree which bring not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. I indeed immerse you with water unto repentance, but he that come after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall immerse you with the Ruach HaKodesh and with fire. Now, we've had this conversation before. What does fire do?
Purge.
It purges. It purifies. Revelation chapter 3, I'm sorry. I said 3 and 13. You can pick it up at 3 and 14. What you over here messing with? Pick that up, throw it in the trash, if you would, sir. Thank you very much. You're a scholar and a gentleman. Three and 14, Book of Revelation. And unto the Malachim of the house of the Dodosians write these things, saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Elohim. I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I would that you were cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew you out of my mouth. Because you say, I am rich and increase with goods. What did we read last night about being rich and increase with goods? What did we conclude with in that regard? Who can give me a brief synopsis of the passage? Sit down, boy. Get off of that. Put it down. I said put it down. Turn around. Nobody recalls? I can wait you out. Oh, we didn't end with that, but I'll allow it. That's Ecclesiastes 5. But we ain't end with that. We still got to go back. I'm glad you mentioned it, though, because we got to talk about the profit for all. We getting that, though.
You want to get the names, too, I think. 2
No names. I said that's impossible. 1 Timothy 6 and 10 is what we finna do. But I see you. You tried. I ain't mad at you. That's later on down the line. No, I'm talking about what we concluded with last night. That's in lines of what he's saying, that I am enriched and increased with goods.
We ain't hit that loop.
You talking about Proverbs, Saran. That's not it. We ain't in with that last night.
Man, life don't consist in abundance of his riches.
That is the chapter that we hit.
Yeah.
We did conclude with that chapter, and I started at that point. But that's not the reference point in that verse.
I got you.
In that chapter.
I wasn't recollecting, but I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. It's a little further down. It's a little further down.
Yeah.
Don't nobody got nothing from it? Once, twice?
I'm here, bro.
Well, let me tell you then, because we got to roll. Because I already cost y'all about 2 minutes going to collect my funds. You had a man who made himself rich towards himself and not rich towards Elohim.
That's right.
And that's understandable, Saran. I cannot dispute with that if you had not viewed it yet. So that's not a bad shot in the dark. Not at all. Not a bad shot in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Remember that rich man saved my barns. I done got more fruits. I'm going to tear this down and build bigger, and I'm going to put up and be at ease. And he say, you fool, your soul will be required tonight. Then who that stuff going to belong to? That's why he say the riches deceive you. Now that's where Saran come in and give me food sufficient for me. Because when you get too rich, then you say, then I forget and say, who is Elohim? You done wax fat. Yes, Saran? Kid. I'm telling you. That money make you delusional. You know what I'm talking about? That money make nigga delusional. See, that's done different for women, because women want more money because they want to consume. They like this here. They look at it as here. Oh, you made $22,000? Well, shoot, I'm finna spend 17 of it. You know what I'm talking about? That's how y'all mind work. You ain't looking at that money got to go here. That money got to go there. That money got to go there. I don't care about none of that. Spend it, nigga. Make some more. You know what I'm talking about? And as a man, you got to say absolutely no. No. So you can look crazy all you want. Now, when I look you in the face and say, you go generate 22,000, you can spend it how you want. You can generate 100,000 in a month, 10,000 in a week, then you can tell me how to spend it. If you can't do it, that'd just be like me going to my daddy. He done made all the bread, and I tell him how to spend the bread. Well, you know, Pops, I need a PlayStation 5. I need this here. Well, son, that's where the money go. Get the hell out of my face. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can't, because look here, right, as a pick, because you know, y'all the kids, every time y'all went in the toy store, what you did? I want this. I want that. Get me this. Get me that. Because you don't have a framework in your brain what it took to get it. All you see is that it's there. So give me what I want. See, this is how people approach Yahuah. You look outside, look at the trees. They produce night fruit for you. You know what I'm talking about? We got a nice date tree in the front. The neighbors keep plucking. I tried to like this. The neighbor asked me one time, could he get some? Nigga took all of them. I didn't think he was going to take all of them. You know what I'm talking about? And he did. And guess what he did? Came and got them too. You know what I'm saying? So that means when the next ones come up out of there, I'm going to have to come because I know you want something. No, he asked the first time. I was in the yard. He like, man, I can get some of them days. I'm like, yeah, bro. He said, my wife been wanting to ask. I'm like, I ain't think he was going to take all of them. Then they sprung again. She came back the other day. I'm like, they go. I don't need them things. You know what I'm talking about? But I know you wanted something. You had already said that. You know what I'm saying? But guess what, though? Just imagine if Yahuah say, day tree, no more dates. You know what happened during the time of Elijah? Clouds, no more rain.
Yeah,
Looking around. Because remember, you ain't know what it took for him to create that tree to give you them days. You didn't know what it took for him to create them heavens to give you that rain. So you don't appreciate nothing. So guess what he say? I'm going to take that from you. Because all you doing is asking. But what am I getting from you? I'm just trying to give you the perspective of how we approach Yahuah. Because we approach him as if he's an ATM machine. Like he's a genie. Like he's a wish granter.
personal service.
Personal servant, as if he owned your time. Or, i.e., he should live above his means, if you would, to satisfy and please you. That means that he's a slave to you. And a man should never be a slave to his woman. Yahushua is not a slave to Yasharal. That's what I'm really talking about. You supposed to be a slave to who? To him.
That's what made me think about it. That's why I said the slavery.
That's no doubt.
Based on what he giving me.
Yeah, you ought to be a dutiful servant.
That's mandatory.
Dutiful servant. No complaints. You know what I'm talking about? No complaints. How you can complain when somebody's giving you the very life that you could not give yourself? See, that go back to the free gift, because he said he took his substance, his strength, and his riches without price. He gave you something that you couldn't get on your own. You can't get everlasting life on your own. You can't get that on your own. Ain't no way in the world. I went to meet that Romans 5 for that free gift. I'm going to get to it. Revelation 3:17, because you say I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and know not that you are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. I counsel you to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that you may be rich, and white raiment, that you may be clothed, and that the shame of your nakedness do not appear. Anoint your eyes with eye salve, that you may see. Now we're going to get the Hebrew word for gold and not the Greek, because we know it's going to equate to gold. Let's take this Hebrew word for gold and let's see what we can come up with characterized. So you know that it's Zahab. Of course, you know it's gold, brilliance and splendor. Zayin, hey, Ba. You give me what you got.
That's glory.
That's gold. Gold. Zayin, hey, and Ba. Because he said, I counsel of you to buy of me what? Gold. So when he say counsel of him to buy gold, what's the first verse that come into your mind? Well, you looking crazy, little buggy. Little buggy. Ain't nothing wrong with you. He said, listen to the verse. Pause your brain. Look at what we talking about. He said, I counsel you to buy from me gold tried in the fire. So what should come to your brain? Buy the truth, sell it not. Because he said, you need to come acquire and get this from me. He said, if you get this gold from me, then you'll be rich. Well, let's look at Proverbs 23:23 real quick, like just to recall the things that are contained in that, and then we'll go to Romans 5. Remember what Yahushua said in Luke? He said, who gonna commit to your trust the what? The true riches, if you ain't been faithful over another man. Michael, you ain't conducting yourself properly, boy? Huh? Why not? So you gonna disrespect this domicile? That's what you gonna do? Then proceed and carry yourself like a gentleman. Are we clear? Very well then, sir. Proverbs 23:23. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom. So you're getting an instruction and understanding. So let me ask you this here. If you got the faith, the skill, the chastisement, and the insight, are those not riches? Because he told you need to, because he just told you to buy gold from him tried in the fire that you might be what? Rich. So Zayin, hay, and buy. That's what we got for gold. What you got? Zayin, hay, and buy. Huh? You can say behold the fruit of the sun, but you can also look at it in another aspect. Fruit is allowable. Nothing wrong with it. Because if you're beholding the fruit of the sun, you can spin it. That's spinning it in another direction. To be nourished in the house of the highest. Very well then, sir.
I like that.
See, I'm going in a different direction because he said to be tried where? In that smoking furnace with that burning lamp. So the direction that I would go, but I'm gonna take both of what y'all gave me, and we're gonna use both of them because they're both relevant. Remember, it's all some things. It's multiple context of a verse. You can take it multiple ways. Sometimes the context of the verse is just one way. Saran got behold the sword of the sun. But I would take it as, behold, the offering or sacrifice of the son, because he was tried in the fire, and he's asking you to buy the gold or the sacrifice, because that's going back to what we talked about earlier. That's why I'm going a different direction, type stuff we done discussed already. You know what I'm saying? And now you'll be rich. Now you will have profit. Now let's look at this here, right? Before I read this Romans 5, let's go back to Ecclesiastes 5 and 10. And I'm going to get this here, the fruit of the son, and I'm going to get that nourishment in the house. Because if you're getting nourished, then what are you getting? You're getting brought to maturity. See, you know the number one key thing you need to be able to be brought to maturity? The willingness to be instructed. See, if you don't have a willingness to be instructed, then you can't be brought to maturity. You have to have a hunger and a desire to learn. Most people don't have that hunger. Because if you wanted to learn something, would you sit or would you go seek that information out? There's a verse in the Apocrypha that's very, very relevant to it, where he's talking about that you should beat down the door of a wise man to get his wisdom. I don't recall the verse. It's in this. No, I don't think the Apocrypha is in that doggone ELB.
You gotta have King James with Apocrypha.
Huh?
You gotta have the King James version with Apocrypha.
I found it.
You know that answer.
This it is. This is the verse that I was referring to is Ecclesiasticus 6 and 36. It says, if you see a man of understanding, get you betimes unto him, and let your foot wear the steps of his door. Now, what is he telling you? If you see a man got insight, he said you supposed to go to him versus you waiting for him to come to you. Now, what does that relate to as far as biblically is concerned? Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and it will be open. That's like you said, wear out the threshold. Because most people don't feel that way. Most people feel like, shoot, he ain't told me nothing, so I guess it don't matter, versus seeking it out and you wanting it. Because I put you this way, right? My homeboy, you know the dude Kevin Jackson with the bad foot. My homeboy, I've been wanting to link up with him, whatever the case may be, after I had shot him his number about a job. But he got a dude out there who he wanted to do the job. But I'm like, bro, he was like, you talk to him, he hit me up. I'm like, shoot, I gave you his phone number. If you really wanted to talk to this nigga as bad as you say you wanted to talk to him, or you would already call him. Because, see, I went a step further. See, I gave Kevin my homeboy phone number. Then I told Kevin, I say, Bumpy, man, I'm going to shoot his number to you so y'all can link, because I don't clear no land. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got no Bobcat. I don't do none of that. But then when I did it, he was like, man, boy, I've been trying to get up with him. Oh, praise the Lord, man. Praise the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he like, man, I ain't talked to him this, that, and the third. I'm like, shoot, bro. You supposed to been hit him up. If you trying to, because get what? I told him, hey, man, I'm trying to do this here. He said, man, I'm going to make a move such and such. He said, call me on this day. Because my homeboy was tripping when he seen it. The nigga walked up, the nigga's shoes ain't had no name on it. No, literally, like, because when he walked up, like, this nigga had on, this nigga pulled up in a Benz with some M1 shorts on, his branded t-shirt, you know, the YFM, Your First Millions. I ain't really look at his shoes. But when he was walking off, I told my homeboy, I said, yeah, man, that's my man's right there, man. He a multi-millionaire. That nigga said, bro, the nigga's shoes ain't got no name on it. I'm like, but because he tripping. The nigga popped up out the car. The nigga had a Ziploc bag full of bread. And they said, yeah, this is my regular everyday thing. But they looking at this nigga like, but you know why? Because you have an idea of what riches look like. You couldn't even fathom in your brain that this nigga got on some old dust kicker 1000s and he got more than you ever done seen. You know what I'm talking about? Because contrary to popular belief, people get rich not by spending money, but by keeping it and reinvesting it. That's how you get rich. You don't get rich by buying stuff. That's not to say they don't buy stuff, because they got different tastes. I know a few millionaires. They like to buy boats. You know what I'm talking about? They like to say, right, they ain't gonna buy no Benzes or none of that there. Man gonna have $100,000 boat in his backyard though, with a house that's on the dock, so he can jump right in the boat and go. I know several big boats. Shoot, one of the people he stayed at the that yacht club over there on the riverside, man. Stayed over there. That way he hung out at. That was his thing. That's what a lot of them do. Shoot, Kyle got a big boat. They be messing with him all the time. Say, I know you got to buy 4 or 5 of them. When you gonna buy another? Because that's what they do. But guess what? When you see him, you think he broke. This man walk around with some Toms dustier than you ever seen before in your life and wear them every day. And that man, throw it in traffic for me. And that man make more money from cash flowing from rentals than everybody in here combined for the year. Not for the year, for the month. For 1 month, that man make more money than everybody in here combined. Shoot, he know I'm lying. And he get it. Guess what? You see him, he look like your regular old white boy, stay off 130. Nigga be having some junk on. Nigga got 17.5 chain with some doggone VVS 1 clear diamonds. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga got on Louis Vuitton sneakers and all that junk. You like this here. That nigga net worth ain't even $100,000. Dang, Joe, you been having a bad day. I was going to Ecclesiastes 5 and 10. You got to go, Joe. It's 5 and 9 that I need. Come on, Joe. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ain't nobody asked you to talk. Pick that up and throw it in the trash since you want to do all that talking. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. Now, again, we talking about riches, right? You talking about riches, right? And he said you got to buy from him gold tried in the fire, and he told you to buy the truth and sell it not. See, let me come over here to Psalms 19 for you. Oh, so you got a low fade. You feel like you can come in here and do what you want, huh? $19 and $10. You going straight to it. You know, he talking about his instructions, right? Talking about his laws, his statutes, his commandments. You know, his law converts the soul. His testimony is sure. His statutes are right. They rejoice the heart. His commandments are pure, and the fear of Yahuah is clean. And his judgments are righteous and true altogether. But look at what he said. They're more to be desired than gold, yea, much than fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Now, matter of fact, Mashiach gave an analogy, a parable, if you will, in Matthew chapter 5 in regards to the kingdom and wealth. Does anyone recall what he said? If you don't, it's fine because we can go get it. But anyone recall what he related the kingdom and wealth to? If you don't recall, let's just come over here to Matthew chapter 12. 12 and 44. Hey, why y'all doing all that talking for? What you doing it for? Hey, little muffin. So who wants to be the first contestant on I want to stand in front of the fence? Get up and go. I'm not playing with you. You raised your hand and volunteer. Get out my house and go stand in front of the fence. Just take him with it. Go. You raised your hand and volunteered for it. That's what you asked for. Go. You laughing though, but you make sure that you put your face in front of that fence. Ain't nobody playing with you. Get out. He might not be able to get out. Now lock the door. 12 and 44, Matthew. And again, the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a treasure hid in a field, the which when a man have found, he hide him for joy there and go sell all that he have and buy that field. Again, the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. What did he tell you to do? I counsel of you to buy gold of me tried in the fire. So you're willing to buy it and give up everything that you have. What does that mean? You're willing to sacrifice your life. Again, the kingdom of Shamahim is like, we don't need all that. That's the point of what we're talking about. And remember, the profit of all is for all the earth. The wisdom, the understanding, the instruction, the truth, that profit and gain is for everybody. Let's take a look at Proverbs chapter 8. Get out. Bird, you go with him. I didn't ask. I said go. Oh, would you like to take a thrashing and you can stay? Or would you like to go outside? Get out my door. Hey, send him back in here for a moment, please. No, because I want him to go that way. Huh? Open the door, send him on his way. Hey, Bird, go out there. Yeah, send him on his way. Hey, you made it all the way here. Hey.
I'm good this week, man. It is chat time. I'm about to follow me. I'll learn.
8 and 10. Proverbs 8 and 10. And it says, receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies. All things that may be desired are not to be compared unto it. Notice he said receive his instruction and not what? So he's equating his chastisement, his discipline, to silver. So that's when he's telling you a man who lusts after silver can't be satisfied. But if you lust after the direction, correction, and discipline of Elohim, then your soul can be satisfied. He equated knowledge to gold, which is true riches. I'm just want you to look at the comparison, because we're going to go back and look at what he said in Timothy. Man of Elohim, seek after what? These things, which would be the profit of all. Because he said the king is profited by the field, but the earth is profited by what he has, because he had great riches, but made himself be destitute in order for you to have riches. Because what did he tell his disciples and the people? The foxes have holes, the birds have nests, the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head at. Yet he lacked for nothing. Because he had riches that can't be quantified. Like I say, right, you could walk up to somebody and they can see you, and the minute you began to mention the word of Elohim, they might, I didn't think you would know that. Because why? People have respect to persons. They expect you to have on a suit. They expect you to wear this. If you're dealing with brews, they expect you to have on certain type of garments. And what you have is the level of respect that they're going to give the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that they perceive that you might possess. You drinking all of it, ain't you? Hey, little muffin, little muffin. Well, you want to get down. Let's see what word knowledge they use here. See if it's das or not. And it is. And you know, das is your perception, your skill, your discernment, your wisdom, your understanding. Let's continue. We're in verse 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of Yahuah is to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I, understanding, I have strength. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By me, princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. Now, this is a key component. You can't even sit back and say you're a king. Oh, Kira says that Yahuah here looks like Lizzie. I'm going to put that one together. Why have you taken off your hat, Little Muffin? Little Muffin, where you going? Where you going, Little Muffin? I know it, but I don't understand. I don't understand what you're talking about. You got juice on your chin. As a king, you can't be a king if you can't rule if you don't have wisdom. There's no way that you're going to be able to rule. That's why we don't even need to be concerned with none of these people out here who run government systems, because they don't have the wisdom of Elohim. So of course they're not going to be able to rule. I know it. Verse 17, I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. And here we are. Riches and honor are with me. Yea, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. Let's begin with revenue. Let's begin with revenue. First and foremost, when we deal with revenue, that is tabur. That is income. That is revenue. It is tau. It is bat. It is u. It is aleph. And it is hey. So he say his revenue, his gain of wisdom, the product of his lips is better than choice silver. So he's saying the product of his lips. That means that what his words produce is better than silver. Let's return to 1 Timothy 6 and 10 just for a refresher on what we want to deal with. Yes. I know it. I don't know nothing about that, Little Muffin. Leave that alone, Little Muffin. Hey, stop. You know better. Come on. Come on, Little Muffin, because you're going to be hard-headed. Yeah, come on. You got a juice cup. You don't know how to act. 1 Timothy 6 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But you, O man of Elohim, flee these things and follow after righteousness. So the first thing we have to sit back and look at is righteousness. What did he just say about righteousness? He said he has durable riches and righteousness. Let's take a look at it. Durable. This is what it is. A thought, handed forward, advanced, enduring, durable, valuable, eminent, antique. So what will we look at that, right? That he has valuable riches. You brought them all in here? Oh, Eugene's still out there. Home for riches, wealth, riches, substance. Hey, oo, and noon. You can see that the man was raised, arms was nailed to bring forth life. Now he's telling you to follow after righteousness. He also says his fruit is better than gold, and that goes in the aspect of what you said with that sentence with fruit. And of course, you know that's parade. So you look at the produce. So then what is the fruit that is better than gold? And let's take a look at it in Ephesians chapter 5. So you can look at what the true riches are. Huh, Muffin? Yahuah. Muffin. You can't eat that. Come get this cup. You can't eat that. But you can't eat that. Yes, I know, but you can't eat it. Your teeth ain't that strong. Hey, get off of that before you pull it down. It's not going to end well for you. It's Galatians. I'm sorry. I said Ephesians. 5 and 22. Galatians 5 and 22. Yes, the Ruach is the richest. It's the profit of all. And of course, all of these things are the elements that descend from it. But the fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Mashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Ruach, let us also walk in the Ruach. Let us not be desirous of vain esteem, provoking one another and envying one another. So when you look at this here, right? When you're looking at what the true riches is, because again, you're being rich in faith. If you have faith and you receive the Ruach, these are the things that descend out of the Ruach, which is why he said receive instruction. What is instruction? That is the Musar, correct? So what is that? That's discipline. So out of the things that are mentioned here, what one of those things would be the byproduct of discipline? The self-control. So then when you look at the other aspect of it, we're looking at fruit. He said wisdom. Compare that. Now, which one of these things are the byproduct of wisdom? No, not. I wouldn't say peace on that one. You got about 2. You got 3 on there that would be the byproduct of wisdom.
Faith. I was looking at peace, but shoot, if wisdom is skill at war, shoot, obviously the war too.
But see, peace is a byproduct. It's completeness. It's tranquility. So in order for you to get completeness or tranquility, then you would need the knowledge to know what would put you at peace. Because see, you got to get the skill, you would need the knowledge. So see, knowledge for the things that would be the byproduct of the knowledge, that's the love, that's the joy, that's the peace, and that's the goodness.
I thought you said what was the byproduct of wisdom.
I did. But since you referenced,
you did.
No, since you referenced peace being wisdom, and I just mentioned that's a part of knowledge, I just mentioned all the things that's a byproduct of knowledge. Because when you get the knowledge, then you get the faith. You get the faith, you get the love.
So like long suffering and wisdom go hand in hand?
Absolutely, because long suffering is the ability to take pain with patience. And you would need skills to know how to do that. You need skill to know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and you look at the gentleness and the goodness, it takes skill to know when to be gentle. It takes skill when to know how to do good unto others.
Does it take skill to have faith?
That take knowledge.
No, I get that's I feel once you gain the knowledge, it makes more sense.
Yeah, you need knowledge for faith, because then you're knowing what you put in your reliability in.
Because you can have one without the other and still not be whole.
Indeed, and that's why the knowledge, the faith, and the love come from the knowledge. The meekness come from the knowledge, and then through the meekness, now you have the wisdom. Now you have the skill to have long suffering. Now you have the skill to be gentle. Now you have the skill to do all of this because you would know when to do it and when not to do it.
And that's like the weighty matters of the law.
Exactly.
So is that the knowledge and faith right there in the law?
Well, you talking about the weighty matter, judgment, mercy, and faith, because judgment is right and wrong. Mercy is understanding. You know what I'm saying? And faith comes from knowledge. And those are the true riches. That's what makes a man wealthy in heaven. Because that's what your treasure is. Remember we just read that wisdom and knowledge and wisdom will be the stability of your times. The fear of Yahuah is your treasure. So if you have reverence for Yahuah, then you're going to reverence his knowledge. That's why we read that earlier about they reject knowledge. So when you reject knowledge, you consequently reject instruction, you reject wisdom, and you reject understanding. So then you're not going to flee after the things that is going to profit you. That's why we read the verse where it said they found the kingdom and equated it to a treasure in a field, gave away or sold everything they got in order to purchase that because they deemed this to be more valuable than this. See, if you deem the kingdom of Elohim more valuable, then you're not going to try to hold on to your life, your thoughts, your ways, your desires. None of that is going to matter because this is more valuable than this. That's why we keep referencing that parable of the deceitfulness of riches and the cares and affairs of this life choke off the word, so therefore you can't get that choice revenue. You know what I'm saying? You can't get that byproduct the durable riches that he had to give because you still holding on to this over here. That's why, what did we just read? What he just said? Everybody that belongs to him has done what? They have crucified their affections. So that means your emotions have died also, which means you're not led by them, you're not directed by them, you're not moved by them. And that's the difference, because we already seen that Yahushua was angry several times. See, it wasn't the issue that he was angry, but he wasn't led by his anger, because his anger could have called them people to slap them people up. You know what I'm saying? You seen he was sorrowful, but in his sadness, we know what he did. He went and prayed. He went and got his brothers to strengthen him. And then the Malachim strengthened him. He didn't sit back and lay in his sorrow and say, I'm sad, so now I'm going to just be over here. No, that's not what he did. That's the difference of when you look at having emotions and being led by them. See, most women are led by them. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I mentioned that last night. It is impossible. It is impossible for a man to emotionally support a woman on a consistent basis because he can't. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ask men, well, who do y'all vent to and all this stuff? Men don't deal with it, sit back and say, how am I going to support you emotionally? Because you're not going to feel like this tomorrow. You may not feel like this next week. Because at the end of the day, when you look at Mashiach in his instance, right, he said he was sorrowful. He told his disciples what he was, right? He was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. And what did those men do? They fell asleep. So the only support that he could get was what? Of a spiritual nature. Because they couldn't support. How am I going to support your sorrow other than I'm here for you, brother? What can I actually do to support? I can't assuage your grief. There's nothing that I can actually tell you to make your sadness go away. There's nothing like, if your dad and your mama died on the same day, what emotional support can I give you? Other than, hey, I'm just here for you, brother, whatever you need. But I can't help you do that other than, nigga, you sad. Eventually, the sadness will dissipate. Oh, yeah, if Yahuah was led by his anger, this people wouldn't even exist. You know what I'm talking about? Because he was ready to wipe you out in the wilderness. Now, again, I'm not just discarding the more. I'm just giving you reality. Because I know a lot of you ladies like, he doesn't care about my feelings. It's not that he don't care. He's not equipped to deal with that. You're used to conversing with other creatures who are equipped to deal with what you're dealing with as far as emotions is concerned. Men are not equipped to deal with that. We don't sit around and have powwows and talk about feelings. Not because a man's feelings are not relevant, because once his feelings come out, a man is going to look you in the face and be like, so what you going to do about that so you can stop feeling like that? That's it. That's all he going to do. Now, like I said, you remember that you seen the video when dude was talking about depression ain't real. And he said, you know why people stay depressed? Because you're sitting around talking about sad stuff all day long. You know what I'm talking about? If you stop thinking and talk, then he say Robin Williams killed himself because he's been talking about sad stuff for 15 years. How do you think you're not going to be depressed if you're talking about sad stuff every day for 15 years? I was feeling good today, but I'm going to talk about some sad stuff. Now I'm feeling down. I've been talking about sad stuff all day. You know what I'm saying? Now, the scripture call it, I talked about this before. Do y'all know what the scriptures call depression? How it's referred to? Do you know what it's called? Do you know, Calvin? I'll allow it. That's not the direct one, but I'll allow it. What about you? No, it's an actual spirit, and it's referred to in that instance. But he said it to a certain extent. I can't even reject his statement of a heavy heart. It's just a different way to say the same thing. But I believe it's in one of the chapters in Isaiah. It calls it the spirit of heaviness. That's how the script describes depression. And the spirit of heaven, outside of the Ruach HaKodesh, spirits come and go. You know what I'm saying? So you can't sit around and fixate. If you fixate on what makes you sad, you always going to be sad. If you fixate on what makes you angry, you're always going to be angry. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that dude said, which I agree with wholeheartedly, if you feeling that way, then you would need to do something that causes you to accomplish something so your mind is not on that and to no longer sit around thinking about things that make you sad. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes around here, they fat and they funky, they can't get no women, they broke, and they sitting around in the house thinking about why they fat, funky, and broke, ain't getting no women, instead of going to the gym and losing some weight and getting their hustle up and getting some money. And I guarantee you ain't gonna be sad no more. You know, a lot of people, when they be broke, they be sad. You know why? Because they broke. You know what it's all that? Go get you some money. You know what I'm saying? And indeed. That's right, Brother Craig. That's why I say hence why the media is always depressing. That's why some people say they don't even watch the news. You know what I'm saying? Oh, another person got shot. This here happened. But they do that for a reason, because that's psychological manipulation. That's why you always staying in a constant state of emotional flux. That's why they target the women, because I told you before, if you want to destroy the man, is to work through his woman. Satan has always done that. The way to take down a strong man is to work through his woman. That's how you can get it. Because Satan knows most strong men, he can't come to you straight up. This is why King Lemuel, mama told him, don't give your strength to a woman. That way you can, because guess what? That's what Satan did with Job. Why? What that woman had the nerve to say to this man? Curse Elohim and die. He said, what he told him? You sound like one of them. That means that's a man who hadn't given his strength over to his wife. Because a weaker man would have been like, you right. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is not no negative. This ain't about women. This about men being men and doing what men are supposed to do. Because if a man is in emotional flux, then how is he going to be able to do anything for anyone? He has to lead. He can't afford to be that way. That's why men are not naturally like that. He can't afford it. He can't afford it. Because they put it this way. Nisha, if you make a mistake, will that be the destruction of your family? Like if you make a mistake, could that throw? But if he make a mistake, that could destroy the whole family. He doesn't have room to make a mistake. You can make all the mistakes you want, because guess what? He can cover. But you can't cover his. You know what I'm talking about? That's just how that goes. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6. What they done did to that baby? What they did to you, Ruth? You did it. Oh, both of them ratted you out. They say they ratted you out. They say you did it. Joe say you popped him. He ratted. They say you popped him. He ratted. Look at that for the next thing, right? He said follow after righteousness, which you know is the dot. Let's look at the next thing. What is godliness by definition? Hey, sit down, put that cap on that water if you ain't drinking.
Eli.
I see y'all don't remember.
I know what type of
This one here, reverence, respect. This Greek word means respect. So he said to follow after respect. What did we just see? What he said, to fear Yahuah is what? Treasure. Now remember, this man made himself poor that he might be rich. So that means that, remember, we also read all your substance and all your riches will be given away without hire. Now I mentioned Romans 5 and 10. Hold this for Timothy. Let's go take a look at it. Well, it's 5 and 15 that I'll begin at. Because we all know Romans 6 and 23, right? The wages of sin is death, but the gift of life eternal is through who? That means that's a gift that he gave you that you didn't pay for. Remember what it said? The law came by Moses, but mercy and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach. So that means you got to be able to get the truth, which would be his substance or his strength, and then the grace, which is his mercy, because now you get his riches of which you did not earn. You got that without hire. So you were able to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of choice gold and silver with no cost to you. Because see, you believing and getting immersed is no cost to you. You didn't pay the cost that he paid. And this is how he shows his strength and his riches, because his strength is shown in those who possess his ruach, because then you see the wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge, which leads to the joy, the faith, the peace, the long suffering, the gentleness, the goodness, the meekness, and the self-control. Now his strength is made manifest, because what is his strength? It's trusting Yahuah. So therefore that's made manifest, and you see the strength or the wealth of the king in his dominion, because whoever he dwells in and who dwells in him, his kingdom is manifest. Romans 5:15. But not as the offense, so also is the free gift. For if through the offense of one many be dead, much more the mercy of Elohim and the gift by mercy, which is by one man, Yahushua HaMashiach, have abounded unto many. And not as if it was by one that sinned, so was the gift. For the judgment was by one to condemnation, but the free gift is of many offenses unto justification. For if by, hey, stop playing over there. I don't want to care. I don't care. Now you're lucky to be back in here. Would you like to go back to the fence? Then get out. If by one man's offense death reigned by one, much more they receive abundance of mercy, and the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one, Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's look at what that Romans 5 for gift. Let's see what we get for it. When we get gift in this instance, we have Doramah. That is a bestowment, a bounty, a benefication, a gift. Do y'all know what a bounty is? What is a bounty? It can be. That's the English language for you, because that definitely means bounty means several things. You know what I'm saying? You say he come out with a great bounty. That means he came out with a lot of money.
Yeah, I see what a bounty is called that. They is paying them boys a tip to go get the niggas.
A good reward. That's what Saranda put on there. A good reward. Good bounty. Hey, little boy, go on outside, baby. Go on outside, baby. They're going to take it out the door. Oh, if you can hold yourself together, you can stay inside. But if you're going to cry, you got to go out the door. You made a wise choice. Now, when we look at where the prophet of all, let's come over here to Ephesians chapter 2. He says the prophet of all is the prophet is for all the earth. Also, you could take that. He say, when the Son of Man be lifted up, then all men will come unto me. And that's a prophet unto all. Because he said, I'm not only dying for your sins, but the sins of the whole world. That's like Galatians, not Ephesians. Good grief. 2:11.
Ephesians,
Ephesians. I don't know why I thought I flipped to Ephesians. I looked up and said Galatians. Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore, remember that you being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by that which is called circumcision in the flesh, made by hands, that being at that time you were without Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Yasharal, strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Elohim in the world. But now in Mashiach Yahushua, you who were sometimes were afar off are made near by the blood of Mashiach. He is our shalom, who have both made both one and broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to making himself twain one new man, so making shalom, that he might reconcile both unto Elohim in one body by the state, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached to you which were far off, and to them that were nigh. When he say preach to them that are far off, what does that refer to in the script? It say the Gentiles, but when we say far off, it gives a specific statement, and that is the isles, which means the Gentiles. I just want you to recall, you read and you see, and then the isles, and then most of the time when he say the isles, he say that they are far off, so you can know that's who that's referring to. That's why sometimes I want you to be specific. I mention stuff specifically because you might read, if we generally you read it, then it might not click in your brain. But if you look at it and read it, okay, I remember the isles. Those are those that are far off. That's why Paul wrote that. You know what I'm saying? So now I know who he's talking about. So then when you read that Ecclesiastes and the profit of the earth is for all, because we know, and this is just adding on to it, not the two sticks here, because we ain't took the two sticks is Yasharal and Yahuah, which would exclude everyone. What we're referring to is what you remember what? The genealogy of Luke. That it take it back to Adam. That's why we read the Romans 5, because everybody died. And him going in the grave reconciles all the sons of Adam. Therefore, the profit of the earth is for all. Everybody get the produce and the revenue, so that means everybody can get the knowledge. Everybody can get the wisdom. Everybody can get the understanding. Everybody can benefit from the riches of Elohim. That's why he say riches don't deliver in the day of death, in the day of judgment, but righteousness do. And he said he had durable riches and righteousness because your wages is in the righteousness, because he advised you to buy gold from him that had been tried in the fire so you could be wealthy. Because remember, what was the word, the verse we was in? He took that man's substance and that man's riches and gave them to you for free. A lot of us don't know what it's like that somebody would come and take all of somebody else's wealth and give it to you for nothing. You ain't have to work for it. You ain't have to do nothing. That's why most people don't appreciate it. And all these women in here can tell you that you don't respect or appreciate nothing that you didn't work for. I just had a young lady call Mother Day, say a dude offered to buy her a car and all that, and she was disgusted. She didn't like dude. She was like, man, this man offered to buy me all these things, and I haven't done anything for him to justify him doing this. Because dudes think that make women like you, and they don't. She didn't earn it. She's not going to respect you. She has to do stuff to earn it. She'll respect it. She'll appreciate it more. Everyone that says legit knew that. Young men know that. If your people always gave you money, did you appreciate the money they gave you? Did you value it? Did you hold on to it? Or did you spend it recklessly looking for some more the next time you wanted something? Because you didn't work for it. But when you started clocking in on them jobs and you started having to go sweat and stand on your feet for 6-7 hours a day, you begin to appreciate that money that came on that paycheck when you had to work for it. It's different. It's different. I bet you appreciated them checks when you were working there. The money though, when you ain't had to work for it, you know, shoot, I spend them $80. That nigga give me some more. You know what I'm talking about? Don't hold the same weight. If you had to go out there by the sweat of your brow and make it yourself. Look at you like, shoot, I was on the phone. I ain't have to sweat. Yeah, niggas don't appreciate nothing when you got to work for it. That's why people look at the mercy of Elohim the way they look at it, because you ain't had to work for it. It wasn't nothing you had to do to get it. Somebody came and said, here's wealth. Here it is, take it. And you like, what? That's why Paul get instructions, don't abuse it. You know what I'm saying? You're getting something. That we can't even quantify that with money. That's why, matter of fact, what buddy said to Peter when he was around up laying his hands on people? What buddy said to him? He wanted to see how much money he said, man, how much I got to give you to get this power? That man say, let your money perish with you. And may the Lord forgive you for the thoughts and intents of your heart. He said, the Ruach HaKadosh can't be purchased with money. Ain't nothing you can do to buy. You can't buy the riches of Elohim. That ain't for sale. That's pretty much what he said. Let me buy that spirit. And what did Yahuah try to tell his disciples? Freely you've been given, freely give. Because guess what? Some of these whole niggas will sell that stuff out here if they could. Boy. Take the power and riches of Elohim and make a profit off of it. Ain't that what he told? Didn't Peter tell you that? You don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm talking about? What Peter told him, Peter? He said they make merchandise from you. We see it all the time. Hebrews be pimping niggas, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like hardcore. Most of y'all ain't familiar with it because you ain't seen it. But these niggas be pimping niggas, man. Straight up and down. Pimping niggas. Like getting, we ain't talking about, I'm going to talk to y'all about this, that on camera, what I told the other day. Like, bro, going through this here, what he dealing with, like, because ain't nobody going to break bread with it. But you know, like, if you had a place to gather, that's just not on his head to keep that open. You know what I'm talking about? That man stressing about that. You know what I'm talking about? Because he got to pay for where he stay and keep that going. But also look at this here. If the Lord with you, he'll make a way. But nevertheless, it's stressful. Because that ain't supposed to be on his shoulders alone. But how do most people look at it? Especially the Christian church, pastor got to keep it open. Y'all remember that it literally is a building fund in the law. Y'all do know that, right? You know, I was just showing that how they be clowning Christians by having a building fund and it's in the law. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody got to give it, because they definitely gave a lot of money to David. Free will offering. Free will offering. They brought a lot of bread. Everybody did. You can read that in Exodus 31 when he was time to make all that stuff, when he filled them two men up with wisdom, the man from Judah and the man from Dan. And people brought a lot of money around them. Black people, the only people on earth, think some work gonna get done with no money. You know, the sad part is niggas will put money together to go on trips, won't put no money together to do nothing for their people. To go trips, to shake their booty cheeks and suck penis. You know what I'm talking about? And drink cheap liquor. Who, y'all shaking your heads? Is it a lotto? Because if niggas going to spend money on the trip, they going to get drunk, find low-value whores, and get high on narcotics. Either way it goes, it's debauchery. You literally have a whole trip in Jamaica every year called hedonism. You familiar with that? You know what a hedonist is? Look it up. Nah, hedonist is somebody who enjoys sexual dalliances of all types. Just a nice fancy way to say whore. Yes, little mother. Oh, you want to come back? Oh, you just want to talk. Let's get ready to wrap this up for the day, man. We've been on here too long. We got a lot of days left. Yeah, they little Bacchus men, little Bacchus. Bacchus boy, a little wine and revelry. But hallelujah for Yahuah in the world, man. We start right there. We got a Day of Atonement coming up on Tuesday night. Pop that off at 8:30. And then for Wednesday night, program notes, 5 p.m. We'll start at 5 p.m. That's program notes. Program notes. 5 p.m. 5 p.m. So Day of Atonement, we'll start observing Day of Atonement. No, get out the camera, because that's what you came over here for. You use the hug as the cap. No, get out the camera. Get out the camera. Because that's what you came over here for. Y'all came over here to show me no love. You did that when you came in the You came in here to get on the camera. You know what I'm talking about? All they like to do it every time. Think I don't know. See, here come Muffin for her turn.
Where the Bacchus going?
She do it every time. You know what I'm saying? I told her she would come and she didn't hear me say, look, oh, come for her turn. But Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. for our observance of atonement. Our services, the regular Wednesday service, will not begin at 7:30. It'll begin at 5 o'clock. I'm just telling you for y'all, because we all gonna be together anyway. I'm saying that for the regards of going later will extend the fact of you being able to go get something to eat earlier. Tuesday night atonement observance will begin at 8:30. And then that regular Wednesday service is going to start at 5 instead of 7. Yeah, because you know we got to do what we got to do in the daytime. You know what I'm saying? I would say with that one, we talk that off camera, because I don't know how long it's going to take her to cook. Go sit down. Yeah, y'all can go out. As a matter of fact, all y'all can get out. And that's why we starting at 5 for that. So that means, of course, we starting to have the regular coming back here. We're going to be at Muffin.
You're going to go back to Muffin.
No, he's saying where we're going to be at. The reason why I'm like this here, because it means we're probably going to have to get out earlier so that we can make sure we get at 5, so that whatever everybody desires to do in regards to breaking that fast, that when the sun goes down, that you're able to do that versus starting at 7:30, which is closer to the sun going down, and then we're not finished till 8:30, 8:45. So I'm not going to put that burden on you. We're going to start 2.5 hours early. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahuah, Yahuah willing. To the next one.
Jay Quellen.
Jay Quellen.